The Meaning of Maggie by Megan Jean Sovereign. Chapter 1. Bzzz. My alarm clock went off at 7 a.m. I hit the snooze button. Bzzz. I hit the snooze button again. Bzzz. The third time's the charm, right? One of Tiffany's giant giraffe legs kicked me in the shin. Ouch. Okay, it's off. She kicked me again. Stop setting the alarm. It's summer. God, she was so impossible. So I yelled, God, you're so impossible. She had no idea that if you slept in over the summer, it would be twice as hard to get back to the grind once school started. I couldn't believe I shared a room with such an underachiever. I wrote my parents like a million letters begging them to let me live in the garage. I didn't need heat or air. My body temperature naturally regulated. But they didn't believe me. They didn't. Bzzz. Curse word. I shielded myself from another kick. I swear I turned it off. Tiffany gave me the evil eye. You're so dead. I glared back at her. Be nice to me, it's my birthday. It was my birthday. With all the buzzing and yelling and kicking, I'd almost forgotten. It was my birthday. 11 years old, the beginning of everything. 1 year closer to college, 1 year closer to voting, 1 year closer to getting a tattoo. Not that I want to get a tattoo. They're terrifying. But it was nice knowing I was closer to getting one anyway. I pulled on my overalls, ran to the mirror, and ta-da! Oh no. Oh dear. Oh gosh. I look the same as I did when I was 10. Maybe Tiffany could spot a difference. Hey, Tiffany, do I look any different? She rolled over and gave me a look. Yeah, you look even nerdier than you did yesterday. She swung her other giraffe leg out from under the covers. She pushed me into the hallway and slammed the door. In my face. I yelled, You're gonna be sorry. Then I heard a loud mechanical thud against the door. Goodbye, alarm clock. But don't worry, I wasn't going to let any of this ruin my big day. What if growing older and wiser took a day to take? Maybe my first wrinkle would surface soon. So I gave my hair a tousle and reached for the boombox because nothing says it's my birthday better than Hail to the Chief. Processional down the hall. I pushed play and marched into the dining room for the best part of any best days. Gifts. Dad saluted me, but didn't stand because, well, Dad doesn't stand. I saluted him back and couldn't help but notice the gigantic envelope waiting for me on the table. Happy birthday, Mags. You look so much older, more distinguished. Thanks. I've been working on it, I said. I poured myself a mug of OJ. Hey, Dad, is that what I think it is? If you think it's an autographed picture of Susan B. Anthony you asked for last year, then no. She still hasn't responded to my letter. I'm not surprised. She's been dead for 82 years. Dad laughed. Well, that explains a lot. I was pretty sure he was joking. Hopefully, I was more successful this year. He slid the envelope across the table toward me, and my hands shook. I couldn't believe it. I had asked him to buy me stock in Coca-Cola. Ooh, footnote. During a Sunday marathon of lifestyles of the rich and famous, I decided it was about time to get rich and famous. When I asked Dad about making fast cash, he suggested the stock market. So I researched stocks and decided to invest in one I really believed in. Sugar you can drink. So back to the footnote. For my birthday, and he'd actually done it, I pulled the paper out of the envelope, which was manila because important things come in manila envelopes. The certificate was fancy and official and said I had 3 whole shares of stock in my name. Coca-Cola was a blue chip stock too, which meant it made more money than most, which meant I was going to be a millionaire. Footnote. A millionaire! I wasn't just Maggie Mayfield, the girl anymore. I was Maggie Mayfield, member of a carbonated dynasty. It no longer mattered that mom never allowed me to drink it. Now I owned it. I bet you get to drink all the Coke you want at the annual stock shareholders meeting. Dad took the certificate from my excited hands. I'll put this away for safekeeping, okay? Wait, let me show mom first. I dashed into the kitchen, past the sink overflowing with dishes, past the empty cinnamon roll pan, and past the almost bad bananas. Mother, I announced, I'm rich. I'm glad one of us is. She grabbed the coffee pot, and we joined Dad back at the dining table. He was thumbing through the paper. Remember, Mags, buy low, sell high. Mom laughed. Do you even know what that means? Of course I do. I read it in the Far Side cartoon. Don't worry, folks. I'm in a dividend reinvestment plan. I'm making money as we speak. I took the last swig of OJ and pushed my empty mug toward Mom with a wink. No coffee, Maggie. Come on, I'm a Wall Street tycoon. I need caffeine. Nice try, but no. Now go get ready. It's almost time to go. Mom had something pretty huge planned for my big day, and that huge thing was a tour of the local newspaper. It was just the kind of behind the scenes action I needed to get in with the press before my presidential election, even if my presidential election was a couple of decades away. But first things first, I needed my lucky red scarf. Sure, we were in the hot and humid thick of July, but I had to have it. I never did any big deal things without it. What if all the reporters kept the newsroom below freezing so the ink wouldn't melt? What if the top-notch editor wanted me to be his girl Friday and we were off to a frozen place to cover some big deal story about a Russian king or a dairy queen? I couldn't leave my lucky scarf behind. I had saved it from the pit of Mom's closet last November. While on a mission to uncover my Halloween candy stash, my candy stash was mysteriously disappeared while I was in the throes of a mini Snickers mini coma. I never found the candy, but I discovered the scarf, and it was definitely meant for me. And my neck. I double wrapped the scarf and reached for my notebook and my glasses, which were another great find from Mom's closet. They were a pair of Dad's old glasses that Mom never let me wear because she said they made me look like a serial killer. Which I didn't really understand because I loved cereal too much to kill it. I tucked the glasses into my front pocket just in case. I needed to get up close and personal with some facts, and then it was off to the presses. We waltzed into the newsroom and I felt immediately at home among the desks and pencils and donuts. We met an old school reporter named Hank who smelled like dust and deodorant. I asked him a bazillion questions like, are the facts cold and hard when you find them, or do you need an incubation period? And should I start drinking coffee now or wait until I can't stunt my growth? But he didn't really have any answers. Or maybe he did, but he kept them secret because that's what reporters do. They keep secrets right up until the big story breaks. I took notes while he told us about the bursting with political corruption, uncovering scandal plaguing Little League Baseball, announcing births and deaths on the same day, and promoting Atlanta businesses like my personal favorite, the Highland Bakery in the 4th Ward. They have cinnamon rolls bigger than my head, and I have a really big head. I tried to pay attention to his every word, but I couldn't keep my eyes from wandering over to his desk. No magnifying glass, no trench coat. Weird. They were probably in his car with his wiretapping kit. At the loading dock, reporters and editors buzzed around us, chatting up big deal stories while drinking big deal cups of Joe. Joe is slang for coffee. It's like Java, mud, and Mom's life force. Well, that last one isn't as much slang as it is God's honest truth. None of them were wearing news caps like I had imagined, but they were talking really fast about really smart things, and I thought, note to self, find Dad's old stopwatch and try to increase my word count per minute. I was going to have to think and speak a lot faster if I was going to keep up with the fast paced world of facts. Hank apologized for having to rush us out the door, but as a parting gift, he let me have the first paper off the presses at no charge. It was still warm and smelled new, even though I knew the news was already old. The ink stuck to my fingers. In that moment, my life was perfect. After we left, my cheeks actually hurt from smiling so much, which hadn't happened since my last birthday when mom took me to see Les Mis or Les Miserables, which was Les Awesome. We zoomed up the driveway and I rushed inside, but I didn't wash my hands right away. I wanted to keep the smudged facts on my hands. I wanted to keep the perfect. I ran over to Dad's chair to show him the headlines on my hands, and I found two things I didn't expect. Number one, he was sitting with his legs crossed like a pretzel. This style of sitting is also known as Indian style, but I don't call it that because it's not politically correct. And Native American style just sounded weird. Two, he looked super sad. How had he gotten this way? Both super sad and pretzel like. And why was the stereo cranked all the way up? It was so loud it felt like an actual Zeppelin was crashing through the roof. But it wasn't. It was just the band, Led Zeppelin, going on and on about heartbreak or Middle Earth or some other nonsense. When we left earlier, Dad had been all smiles and had told us to hurry back because he wanted cake, which I understood because I always wanted cake. Then it hit me. I'd missed the biggest scoop of the day. I'd been so overwhelmed in the morning, I hadn't noticed something so different about Dad. He was home. Every other birthday wish from him had been a phone call from work, but he wasn't at work, not today. I turned the stereo down and bellied up to his chair. Hey, Dad, why aren't you at work? Is everything okay? He blinked a long blink. Hey, Mags, how was the newspaper? Did you love it? What was your favorite part? I got really serious. Everything was my favorite part. That's really great. Hey, will you get your sisters for me? I'm calling a family meeting. A family meeting on my birthday? What about cake and presents and everyone giving speeches about how great I was? What kind of inauguration to being 11 was this? But what about my birthday? It'll just take a minute, and then we can have cake. Promise. I took promises seriously. Pinky swear promises and spit shake promises, and especially promises to have cake. So I called Tiffany and Layla, and they opened their doors at the same time because they're pretty much the same person with the same brain and the same. Oh, I can't say that. What's up? Layla asked. Dad wants to talk to us. Tiffany glanced down at her hands. Tell him I'll be there when my nails are dry. You'd better come now, I said. It sounds important. They followed me into the living room where Mom was now sitting next to Dad. They looked serious, really serious. Dad cleared his throat. Girls, your mother's got a job. We should be really proud of her. She's going to be working at a big, fancy hotel downtown. This didn't make any sense. Why would you do that? Who's going to take care of us? I panicked. We'll starve to death. Dad answered before Mom could. I'm going to take care of us. He took a giant breath, like it might be his last. I quit my job. He said it again, but this time he said it differently. This time he said it like he was saying it to himself. I quit my job. Oh no. There's so much to think about.